It's Dash, and in today's video you're going to see me just work on some projects, the Arcane Discs and the pillars and some statues. Nothing real groundbreaking there. The Arcane Disc, I do try a marble effect that I was looking at possibly doing for the bell tower. We will see how that works out. Let's get started. I'm going to be using these 3-inch wooden discs for my Arcane Discs for Frostgrave. I picked these up at Hobby Lobby. I'm going to try my marble pattern on these, and if I like the way it turns out, then that is the pattern I will use on the bell tower. I'm going to be priming these. While I prime the discs, I'm going to be priming some statues I'm working on too for Frostgrave. Normally I prime in gray because it's easier to go light or dark, but for the effect that I want on these discs, I'm going to be priming black today. So here we go. The statues I'm using or the models I'm using for the statues are some 3D prints that didn't come out right, so figured they would do well as busted statues. I'm going to be trying to make a green marble effect. So I've prepared these by priming them black, and I'm going to go from a darker green to a little bit lighter to a little bit lighter to lightest, and then I will be using some other colors to put the veins in. I've prepared a sponge. I've made it a little uneven so that it can go on less uniformly as I dab this paint on. Then I will have a brush like this to put on the wash that I'm going to put on. I'm going to be using this wash here. It is a Citadel from Games Workshop. Unfortunately I don't have an ink, and that's what I would prefer to use. And then I also have a small brush more for details and things like that. This one I'm putting on relatively thick, covering most of the surface. So I'm just putting on a little less, this little bit lighter color. Now I'm going to apply the wash across the whole tile, or disc, I guess. Trying to do this in some stages so that it will build up some depth. The dreaded spill from GW washes. And we're back after our little accident there. So now with the bright green, I put on just a little less than the last time. Back for our last little bit of color for this part of it. I'm just going to do very little of this one. We're going to go back to what's left of my wash here and add some more depth to these. Mixing up that last color that I used with some bluish color. I'm gonna try and get some of these lines on here. I'm gonna put another wash on this, see if that will help with those lines I put in, because right now I'm not very happy with them. We're gonna go with yellow this time. So I didn't leave these to dry this time. We'll see if that has an effect on this. I may have come up with a solution that will be passable. I switched brushes, switched to a small brush that is flat and very stiff, and I'm doing a dragging and stippling method, and it's getting the lines thin enough for what I want. So we will show you what I'm doing. Again, I'm not sure if this will work out all the way in the end, but it does look better than it has. All right, going to see how this works on these and if this salvaged. If it does, maybe, again, like I said, I will be able to use this. While I'm at it, I'm going to paint some statues up, the ones that I primed earlier from failed prints. Just going to use them for some statues because Frostgrave calls for plenty of statues. So just using some gray paint. Gonna let that dry and I'll probably put a second coat on. I have these pillars that I was making for Frostgrave, and I'm going to add a little bit of stuff to them. So I'm going to do a little bit of a dry brush on them. Just to give them a little bit of wear. Quick note while I'm working on these pillars. These pillars are cake decorating pillars that I picked up when they were on sale at one of the hobby places. I just put some weight in one end so that they will stay standing easier. Now that these statues are mostly dry, I'm gonna pop a little dry brush on them. Just doing roughly the same thing I did on the columns. Looking over the stuff that I've done for today's video, the marble is not my favorite, but it'll do for these, and if I can practice it on some other things, get better at making thinner lines and having them more look at more marble and seeing if I can imitate that a little bit better. I still may use that on my bell tower. If I can't get any more practice in and make it look better, I won't be doing that. I will probably just be doing a stone look. As far as the statues and the columns, I've decided I'm not going to put the wash on. I'm actually just going to leave them the way they are. To me, they look pretty good. So that is where we will leave those. These are not quite finished yet. I want to put some symbols on them. Make them a little bit more arcane looking rather than just some stone discs. So we will take a look at that. For this first symbol, I can't draw straight lines even with a ruler, but we're going to try. I'm going to draw it on with a pencil first, and then I will paint over that. Going to draw this in. Eventually, most of you guys will recognize this symbol when I get into it. I'm not sure if this is showing up on camera, the pencil marks, but you'll definitely see it when I paint it. So that's the basis of that pattern. And now we will come to try and freehand another symbol. And freehand is not a spot that I shine on things. Obviously, we've seen that with my marble effects. We're going to try and add this gold around the edges. Let's see if this works. Here are my Arcane discs finished, the 4 of them. Didn't like this one, so I went in and defaced it. Something like a necromancer who didn't like the life magic that was on the Arcane disc, the Arcane symbol for the life stuff. Went in and defaced it, and so works well enough for me. So there we have our Arcane discs, and that will be all that we do for those today. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. After all is said and done, I'm unsure on that marble effect if I'm going to try and perfect it and do it on the bell tower. I will keep practicing with it. If I can improve it and get it better to where it should be, then I will use that. Otherwise my bell tower will just get painted up in a regular stone pattern. Tune in next time.